Hello, beautiful stars. Courtney here, Stars of Morning Light, and this is Edgar Cayce Life Skill Studies, and we are still inside of Secrets of the Universe and how to use them. Um, this is normally live on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Um, I know that my end of June and beginning of July of 2024 is a little chaotic, so you are getting this pre-recorded a day late. I almost said a dollar late. A day late and a dollar short, apparently. So if you're new here, welcome. I have seen that there's some new subscribers. Scotty boy, it's good to have you here amongst us. Um, there's a lot within the Edgar Cayce Life Skill Studies. I normally do either a biography video and explain the inner workings of his life and how his mind might have worked and characteristics of those who are able to access the Akashic based on my own similarities within the bio of Edgar, and or we are in one of his books. Now, this book we are closing into finishing. I actually questioned if we were going to. We're going to finish it off. And then I had put a poll out there months ago, um, that, asking everybody what other books would they like. And most people in that poll wanted to jump to Edgar Cayce's book about reincarnation. So people must be curious about past life stuff, which is the norm when I do Akashic readings for people. There will always be questions about past lives. Um, and it is good. It's good to know what characteristics and habits and thoughts and karma that travels through. And everybody likes a good story. And you are all such beautiful, wonderful stories. You all are such beautiful, wonderful stars. So, where we are in the book today, the last few chapters were very small. And this one is small as well. I like this one though. It opens with a story and then it's a very simple read. Um, it's got good context as far as what happens within the mind. And let me remind you that Edgar would talk about the soul mind and the conscious mind and the soul self. And he would say, take a deep breath, take a pause, and in that pause before exhaling, ask yourself a question. And the response that you have in your mind before you exhale is your soul's response to that question. So the chapter that we're in, it says the secrets of the inner world rebels. We're going to read a brief little story about a kingdom without a king. And then the king is in a tower. And it's in relation to our mind, how we have the body, the mind, the universe. And they do show a little diagram. It might be hard for others to see. I'll hold it up now so the camera can focus on it. It has the universe mind, the body mind, and the soul mind. And they're trying to show in this diagram where the king's throne is in the soul's mind. And it also goes into becoming co-creators with the quote unquote king. Do please remember that Edgar Cayce, he was a Christian and he read the Bible every single year. Later in his life is when more questions were coming up about aliens and Atlantis and reincarnation. And for him personally, it threw him. His whole life, had he been talking to other beings, other little ones, all sorts of things? Yes. Had he had many experiences? Yes. Um, but what the words on the page in the Bible were not, quote unquote, allowing him to believe in the things that were then coming from him. He struggled, and then he found a very deep, beautiful form of acceptance. So then when he went back and reread the Bible, he read it in such with new eyes, is how I describe it. And I ask everyone to read all of the materials, all the books you can find, try to read them with new eyes. Because after he did that, it changed things for him in a profound way. And we're not there yet in the bio, and we will be probably returning to his bio towards later in July. Because those are always, always fun videos. So once again, normally I am live on Wednesday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to hold up the diagram for you so the computer can kind of focus. That's it. And down below here is actually a new version of the Lord's Prayer in consideration of like, we do need to connect with the creator that is within our mind, the king, the God, the divine within us to co-create with them. And so this is a new form of the Lord's Prayer right below this diagram. And you will see the universe mind, the body mind, and the soul mind. I would like to remind everyone that Lucky Stone 888 and I will have a show here tomorrow night on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes we are live over at Lucky's channel, Lucky Stone 888. And sometimes we are pre-recorded here at Stars of Morning Light. It's mostly due to our schedules, and also I need some more subs. So if you enjoy what you hear and what you see, then consider subscribing, because I cannot technically go live via YouTube with Lucky until I have at least 500. And so I'm a little bit and thank you Andromeda 7 last Friday night for giving that sweet shout out to Lucky and I, and talking about how Courtney needs a little bit of fairy dust. They meant I need more subs so we can start going live, because when Lucky and I are live, it's a good time. The reason I'm bringing this up is tomorrow night, Friday, June, what is it, the 28th? June 28th, 2024. It will be pre-recorded, but the conversation will also tie in with this message today, and it will be lovely. All right, everybody. So we are in chapter 14, Secrets of the Inner World Rebels. The Inner World Rebels. And like I said, it starts with this lovely little story. So I am going to read the story. I might not read word for word through this entire thing. Well, because I don't plagiarize. That's why. So anyways, and this book did come out in 1989, so it's a little bit outdated as to where we are now, but everything can still be considered timely. Here's the story, folks. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom populated by many people, some good and some bad. This kingdom had no king, it thought. So every day, one of the inhabitants of the kingdom would declare himself king. And every day, the inhabitants would bow down to whomever had declared himself king. And the next morning, when they arose, they would ask, well, who shall be king today? Sometimes the one who was king yesterday wanted to be king always. So the inhabitants of the kingdom would go along for a while just to see if one was worthy. But pretty soon the one who would wanted to be king for always did something stupid, and the inhabitants would run amok and refuse to bow down until someone else was king. This went on for quite some time until one of the wise ones said, "You know, we need a real king, one who is worthy of the job, one we can trust." They searched and searched, but no one in the kingdom seemed worthy. Like all good kingdoms, this one had a tower, where locked away was a man no one had thought about for a long time. The inhabitants of the kingdom have forgotten he was there. No one could even remember how he got there. Then one day the tower guard pleaded, one day the tower guard paid a call to one of the wise ones and said, "Hey, wise one, there is something strange about this man in the tower. He has never aged. He never changes. He never asks for anything. He just sits there, patiently smiling. He's always kind to me whenever I see him. So I asked him why he was smiling, and he told me this: I am smiling because my subjects have never been able to replace me as king. This is this is my kingdom, and they're all my children. I remain in this tower so that they might seek among themselves a king. When I take the throne, I want them all to know who I am. I want them to come to me on their own claim of their inheritance. You see, there is wealth beyond their wildest dreams, and only I know where it is hidden. I placed it here long ago, waiting for my children to seek me out, to remember where I let them put me long ago, in this tower where I have been for so long they have forgotten. Once they knew me, they played together among the stars and laughed and sang as friends. But I loved them too much to keep them there. I wanted them to know the joy of fathering their own creations. I made them sleep for a very long time, and when they awoke, they couldn't remember who they were. I came to them and said, I am your father. But they didn't believe me and locked me away in this tower. And here I have remained, hoping that someday I will have the love of at least some of my children back again. I could have brought their love I could have bought their love with my wealth, but I want them to claim it as their birthright, not accept it as dull. I do not bribe my children. The wise one listened sorry. The wise one listened attentively to the tower guard. The guard's story seemed to awaken a wise one's some memory of once having laughed and played among the stars. The wise one conferred with the other wise ones, and they too seemed to recall such a time. Soon word spread among the inhabitants of the kingdom that in the tower was a man who promised great wealth. The rumors flew back and forth while each one searched his memory for the time when they played among the stars. One said, I don't really remember, but I'm tired of wondering who shall be king today. Let's give him a try. Another said, I don't remember either, but I'm tired of being poor. Let's give him a try. But one rebellious one, said, no, I want to be king myself. I don't want another. What can you offer us? They asked him. Well, I'm pretty smart. I'll figure something out. Not good enough, they said. They'll never bow down to you. They're all pretty smart. Not enough. We need someone to take charge of this kingdom so we can be about our business. The rebel, who would be the king, was angry, but outnumbered. He pretended to submit, but began plotting his strategy to gain control of the kingdom. A wise one, standing alongside the tower guard listening, said, "The man in the tower says that he is our father, and this is his kingdom." "Fine," they said. "If this is his kingdom, then everything about it concerns him, even what we do." "That is true," said the wise one. "So that means our business is his business," they said. "That is what it means," said the wise one. They conferred among themselves for a moment, then turned to the tower and said, "Release our father from the tower. We shall put him on the throne and be about his business. From now on, we shall know who shall be king today." And then she goes in. So that was a lovely little story. And I thought it was a great way to open this chapter. She goes into explaining then beautiful stars that played amongst the stars. She then says the kingdom in this fable is, of course, the human mind. The inhabitants, aspects of the mind, habits, inner world rebels. So what she's trying to say is, and we all know this, our minds are vast, our minds are wonderful, our minds are expansive and beautiful, and consciousness is great. Our souls are there, the creator is there, the divine is within us. But there will always be within the human mind that's moving about and creating and doing and deciding and making choices and gaining awareness and expanding, there will always be this rebel, this little rebel that's like, no, 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 I want to be king today. No, 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 I'm going to plot how to be king always. It's that little voice that's like, no, no, no. It's that time that we always indulge in things that are maybe not the best for us. It's always that time of thinking about revenge or anger or even disappointment, high expectations, period, right? There's always this rebellion going on within the inner workings of our mind. And that's what that story is talking about. So the majority of the aspects of us, our habits, our thought patterns, our beliefs, our faith, what have you, the majority of what's going on in our mind, and I'm talking beyond just the functioning of the body and the mind, the majority of it wants good, wants us to claim our birthright, wants us to claim our inheritance, wants to accept and explore this concept that we are creators, right? It wants to do that. And then that little rebellion in there, that little rebellion is like, no, 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 no. I want to be king. I want you all to work for me. So that's the point that that little story was trying to make. And then it goes on further. And remember, folks, this is chapter 14 out of The Secrets of the Universe and How to Use Them. And the majority of this book, at the beginning, it went into the different aspects of mind and soul. Then it went into a lot of describing codependent behaviors. I mean, because this was written in 1989, they didn't know much about it at first. And then it went into like principles that we can use every day. We can check in with ourselves. I had a discussion with someone this past week that I don't remember the context of it, but I do remember saying that when we check our motives, we're actually checking our ego. Because usually our egos are making the decisions, usually our ego that is bruised, damaged, and hurt, so it's always in the defense, is making these decisions for us when the rest of the kingdom of our mind doesn't really want that rebellion happening. So when we actually check our motives and ask ourselves, wow, if I'm feeling this way and I'm wanting to do this, why? And in that of the checking of the motive, we can normally see, oh man, this is ego based. This is fear based, right? The battles are fought first within ourselves, then outside of ourselves. Habits are habits are inner world rebels who would be king. Habits try to enslave us and often succeed. Which habits are worthy of being king? Excuse me, even for a day. Even good habits, routines in which we slide and become trapped, are unworthy of ruling the kingdom. The mindset about the Father's business bows down to no such ruler. I'm pardon me. Um, Once we identify who shall be king today, we are free to go about our business in complete faith that each task is of concern to the Father. Each inhabitant, each aspect of our mind, is a child of the King, to be thy rebels or not. Though few remember playing among the stars, a sense of rightness resonates about the idea of the Creator, loving the creation enough to want us to experience the joy of creating. Oh, pardon me. Um, I do have a little frog in the throat. I apologize. It's been lots of air conditioning for the past few days in this heat wave, and it's kind of giving me a tickle. That kind of love resonates in our desires for our own healthy earthly children, who sometimes rebel too. The satisfaction of parents feel when seeing a child get a sense of itself, who the creator must feel when we begin to get a sense of ourselves as creators. So she's going into how we have to co-create with the Father. And prior to that, she also, please make note of this. I'll read this one sentence. Since whatever is in the mind manifests in the outer world, wars of one type or another never cease. So because that rebellion is always in our own inner world, our inner makeup, they're basing it off of the Hermetic concept, where well, most people understand it as Hermetics, as above, so below, so above, as within, so without, which that as within, so without, Hermetics added later to explain this concept easier to people. So because we always have this like rebellion going on in our own mind and the fight within, and we know we all have the imagery, devil on one shoulder, angel on the other. We all know the inner battles. Because of that, that also affects the outer world. Hence also why there's always war, there's always fighting, there's always toil and trouble, right? So then by the bottom of the page, is talking about we can understand the love of the creator by looking at our own earthly kids who we want to see achieve greater than us. We want to see them create in their own way. We want to see them be at peace and joy and harmony, all these things. We can put that into relationship of the ultimate creator who is giving us the free will to claim our birthright that we are creators. I do want to let everyone know in this moment that the July 2024 collective Akashic message that will probably be released to everyone by this weekend. Pay attention. They refer to us as leaders of creation at the very beginning of it, which we are. We are all co-creating together. We're co-creating with each other. We're co-creating with the divine. And we are also co-creating within our own inner world, our own inner mind, our makeup. We're co-creating all the time. Many of us feel like we're not. Many of us feel that things happen to us. Many of us feel that the divine is separate from us. That other people, all those people around in their cars, in the stores, at the jobs, on the YouTube, wherever, all those other people are not attached to us. So therefore, we're not co-creating with them. When energetically, spiritually, consciously, we are. So that's the point that she starts going into. And the July collective Akashic reading definitely talks about that. We were created to leave the creator, then return to the creator better than we started, that we might become spiritually mature companions with him. This is fairly easy to comprehend deep within the soul's mind, but how do we bring it out into the open? How do we experience mind as the kingdom with the king in his rightful place on the throne in our everyday lives? Edgar Cayce's readings advise prayer as a method by which this occurs. The Lord's Prayer is recommended as being practically effective in awakening us to the awareness of the soul's purpose. I'm going to jump to the Lord's Prayer then, how they kind of reshaped it. How do we know? How do we know that we're even experiencing and creating what is right by ourselves, by others, and by the divine? How do we know that? And it is an everyday choice. I'm going to read this prayer and then I'm going to break some stuff down. This is probably going to be a shorter video because I'm doing short videos right now for everyone. And please know I am more focused on making sure the patrons of Stars of the Morning Light receive all that they need to receive while my schedule is busy. I do teach there twice a month. They do receive all the readings, all the monthly readings early. It's a great community. We meditate together on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. at their time. It's a group meditation using pyramids for manifesting for everyone. So please consider that. The link is in the bio, or just look for Stars of the Morning Light on Patreon. I am legitimately the only Stars of the Morning Light. So this is the Lord's Prayer. O King, in the kingdom of my mind, I bow down to your mind in my body, as well as my mind. I claim my inheritance. Pardon my error with justice. I will follow you. Transform the rebels. My mind is your mind. Lead me home it is done. I'm going to close out of that chapter there. Actually, no, I'm not. Sorry. I take that back. With the use of prayer, an awakening may occur in the memory of being with the divine in other places, other times. Cayce said, however, not to seek mystical experiences, but to be a mystical experience for someone else. Regardless, though, of what begins to happen or not happen in your life, the inner insurrection can be quelled by bringing the rebels before the king. Meaning that part of, heal my rebels, work with my rebels, transform my rebels, transmute my rebels. Identify the areas of poverty and enslavement in your life that have been built by some aspect of mind. The prayer activates and quickens the soul, which then transmits instructions to the physical mind from the soul's mind to the soul. When or if doubt, mockery, and disbelief arise, these are inner world rebels making their presence felt. Round them up and take them to the king and leave them there. Then be about the Father's business. As you move throughout your day, resist the urge to pretend to be poverty-stricken just to fit in with the crowd. You are the child of a king. When faced by outer world rebels, quietly reaffirm who shall be king today. Then take the rebels before the king in prayer and leave them there. Be an instrument of co-creation with the king, who wants all rebels to claim their inheritance willingly and acknowledged him as father. So there was a lot said there. There was a lot said there. Identify the areas of poverty and enslavement in your life that have been built by some aspect of mind. In a lot of the pop psychology of today, we understand this concept. We understand that they say affirmations, change what you tell yourself. I refer to it as catch your thoughts. I've worked a lot with the patrons about this. Catch your thoughts. Because we can't really change how our mind is thinking if we're not paying attention to what our mind is thinking first. So poverty restrictive, enslavement, all of those things really come from what we tell ourselves. Oh, I can't do that. Because X, Y, and Z. Oh, I don't deserve that. That's such a horrible thing people tell themselves. You deserve everything. That is your birthright. You deserve the highest joy. That is your birthright as a human. We tell ourselves such horrible things and we don't even catch it. So for me, I try to say, catch your thoughts first because we can't actually rectify them, change them, know how to use affirmations to clear them away, know how to tell ourselves, no brain, no mind, you're wrong. I am worthy. So we first have to catch that they even exist because we're so used to knocking our own self down that we do stay in these horrible mindsets that do not achieve, create, or manifest anything beneficial. From there, I tend to use my I am statements because I am co-creating with the creator. So who is the I am? I'm a part of the I am. We are the great I am, right? So I use my I am statements to rectify whatever my brain might be telling me. So if my brain is saying, oh, Courtney, you're never gonna learn how to edit a video for this YouTube, right? You're never gonna do that. I catch that. I catch my thought and I go, no, I honestly, what I learned, what I started doing years and years ago, I would say, I reject that. That is not of me. And then I would clear it with saying something. I am a good editor of my videos, right? I would use my I am statements. When I say, I also use I reject that, that is not of me. That goes for my own thoughts. That goes for other people's words. That goes for stuff on the TV, the YouTube. That goes for everything out there that wants to try to come to me and fill me with their garbage. The moment I hear, whoa, that's garbage. I don't want to, I don't let garbage into this body of form. I'm a beautiful spiritual being in this body of form. Why would I fill it with garbage? But things are said. We're all going to begin together here in the States for probably 4th of July stuff. There's going to be a lot of things said in my mind if I hear something that I'm not cool with, doesn't resonate with me, or it's just garbage and I don't want it inside. In my mind, I go, I reject that. That is not of me. I use those exact words. I reject that. That is not of me, meaning it has no place within me. It cannot enter. So I've been doing that for, I don't know, like, I think I started that in like 2017. It works. I don't like garbage in. No, I don't like garbage in, including my own mind. I don't let the rebels, uh, I don't let them be king for an entire day. No, no. You want like 3 hours king, maybe because you're strong enough. No, you don't get past having a whole day. No. And then you check in with yourself throughout the day, throughout always check your motives, check where you're at. I do want to go back to this amazing line, and this is from Edgar. Cayce said, however, not to seek mystical experiences, but to be a mystical experience for someone else. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Do not seek mystical experiences. Rather be a mystical experience for someone else. And that takes trusting oneself, having faith in oneself, understanding that you are in co-creation. Personal mystical experiences will come and go. They will come and go. And they are good for enlightenment. They are good for awareness. They are good for all sorts of purposes, right? But we don't need to seek those out. They will come. What is meant for you will come to you. They will come. What is lovely is if we seek to be a mystical experience for someone else. And that could literally be just standing in your confidence. That could literally be, hey, telling somebody else, you can say this, I reject that. That is not of me. That could be anything, a smile. It could be anything. Anything of creation that is of pure, genuine love, that's mystical. That's the most powerful, most powerful. So we seek to do that. We seek to align our will with the love of the divine will. Every day, and I've actually been doing a prayer to align my will with the Creator's will, source, what have you, love, what have you. I have actually been doing a prayer every single day, sometimes on my knees, sometimes in the shower, sometimes in the car, wherever I am. I have been doing some form of prayer to align myself, myself, my mind, body, and soul with the Creator's will for me and for all of us. I have been doing that now definitely nonstop every day since at least '06. So I got close to 20 years of doing it. So when we say like, how do we know what we're doing? Edgar talked about prayer, using the Lord's Prayer. Some might talk about meditation. I will talk about I am statements. Here's the thing. That rebel is going to come in and doubt. That's going to come in and say, you're not doing it. Look how bad of a person you are. What it really is we do some form to consciously say, I am accepting, willing, and choosing to align myself with the will of the divine creator in this day. Because just making that statement, making that choice, claiming it is a very good start. And then you just carry out your day. You just carry out your day doing what you're going to do, trusting that you aligned yourself with love. You aligned yourself with the divine. We don't have to be in constant examination of what we're doing, if it's right or wrong or good or bad. We make it very easy. Am I in love or am I in fear? Am I in love or am I in fear? Very, very simple. Keep it simple because everything is actually very simple. Am I in love or am I in fear? That is how we check our motives, our ego, check if we're still aligned, check ourselves. If am I in love or am I in fear? It's really just those two throughout your day. So at some point at the beginning of your day, if you align yourself with the divine inheritance, your divine connection, the universe within, if you do that, and then you just do your day, you carry on with your life. You go to work, you pat your kids on the head, send them to school, do whatever you do. And then if something maybe arises, whoa, I didn't react so well in that moment. Whoa, what are these thoughts? What's this rebellion doing here? Anger, sadness, disappointment, expectations, whatever it may be, right? Whoa, what's this rebellion doing here? Ask yourself, am I in love or am I in fear? And then based on that answer, we work our way back to love if we are not in love. We examine ourselves. I will say my teachers, they would have us ask ourselves a question. And when I first started doing it, I was like, this doesn't really work that well. To tell you the truth, I stuck with my teachers because I really trust my teachers. Um, and then of course later in life I really understood. They would have us ask ourselves if something arises, what in me called this to be? What in me called this to be? like I said, when I first started, it was like quick answer. Okay, cool, got it. Now, let's say I can't release for some reason, the racing thoughts are not changing. Or maybe I can identify I'm angry, but I can't identify what I'm really afraid of or why. I use that and I go, what in me called this to be? The answer will come. Well, then I don't stop there. I go, okay, what in me caused that to be? Because you can move cause and call in and out. What in me caused that to be? And I know I've used this example before, but I'm going to use it and then we might just carry on with being the mystical experience for others. One day this was last summer. Last summer is pretty rough as far as work wise. What I do for a living, Akashic readings, timeline cleanses, teaching classes. I am very extracurricular for most people. And so it gets a little bit tight in the summer for Stars of Morning Light in this household. So I remember that day, it was probably near August, and it was like, oh, we're pinching pretty hard. And I was just like raging in my mind, which that is not my normal because I know money comes in and money goes out and I manifest anyways. I don't live that way. But for some reason, in this particular day, I kept going on and on about money in my mind. And do remember that money, the when in scripture, when it says money is the root of all evil, it's actually they talk about the thinking, the thought, the obsession with money is the root of all evil. And that can go for those who got a lot of money and those who ain't got none. If you're thinking about money constantly, then you're missing the entire point. The entire lesson to all the lessons that we are co-creating, we are creation, we can manifest, we can do whatever we want. Money is just a tool. But in that particular day, I was like raging and I didn't understand. I just stopped and I went, wow, Courtney, you've been doing this in your mind so much. Wow, rebel, you've been very present for like a half an hour, hardcore. What are you screaming about? Right? I just stopped and I just paused and I went, what in me caused this to be? And I'm talking about this screaming that I'm doing in my own brain. I said, what in me caused this to be? And I responded with, well, lack of money. And I went, that's not good enough because that doesn't align with anything that you believe, Courtney. So that's not good enough, but I'll take it. Okay. What in me caused caused the lack of money to be? And my answer was fear. And I went, okay, I'll work with that. The more less money was coming in probably in July, meant by August, the fear set in, and I'm not realizing I'm projecting that, right? I'm creating that now, the fear of lack. So then I asked myself, I said, okay, what in me caused that fear to be? Meaning the fear of the lack of money. So first I identified, yeah, you're screaming in your head about actually money. And I went, oh my goodness. So I asked myself, what in me caused that to be? Then it came to know, yeah, you're afraid of lack. Fear comes in three categories: rejection, lack, or true survival. Everything can be categorized into those, right? Rejection, lack, true survival, right? And then I went, okay, so I'm fearing lack of money. I said, well, that kind of doesn't also fit into your belief system, Courtney, and how you usually operate. So let's do it again. What in me caused this fear of lack to be? And I just said fear of lack. What in me caused this fear of lack to be? And my consciousness, soul, mind said loneliness. And I paused and I went, am I lonely? I was definitely lonely. For some reason, I was extremely lonely. I, who knows what happened? I don't remember. This was quite a while ago. Out of actually feeling lonely, lack of intimacy, lack of friendships, lack of communication with others, lack. In that way, my mind, without me even being conscious of it, aware of it, I should say, my mind took that feeling of loneliness and put it onto money because it was the lack of intimacy, the lack of communication, the lack of feeling appreciated, the lack of whatever, as far as I am lonely, somehow turned into I have nothing. I have no money. I have no nothing. And it was fixated on the lack of money because it didn't want to show me how lonely I was. The reason I say this, it's not, this is all a while ago. And if I'm lonely, I'll stay it. I'll call somebody. Um, how our minds can trick us, how our minds can say, yeah, you're scared, you're afraid, you're angry because you don't have this. When it's actually rooted in you don't have this. Our minds will say that we're angry, angry, angry at X, Y, and Z, people, places, and things. We're angry at them because really we had very high expectations that people can't meet. Right? All sorts of things like that that we have to get to the root of. And so I use that. I use what in me called this to be, or what in me caused this to be. I also, like I said, I use my I am statements every single day, every single day. Even if I'm running, even if whatever, somewhere during my day, usually in the morning, sometimes before I even record here, I do it again. I align myself with the divine to fulfill their will for me. Mine's connected with them because I co-create. And I simply say, my hands are in prayer position. I simply say, make my words your words, my actions your actions, my thoughts your thoughts. That's it. That's it. Keep it simple. Hands in prayer position. Make my words your words. Make my thoughts your thoughts. Make my actions your actions. That's it. That's all I do. And then I go live because we're supposed to live. And then I don't worry about it until something presents itself to me to worry about. And then in that moment, I take care of it by asking myself, am I in love or am I in fear? What in me caused this to be? We are co-creating always, always. And the more we catch our thoughts and aware of what's actually being present in our thoughts, the more we can start changing the inner world, which changes the outer world. And that is when we stop seeking mystical experiences for ourselves to change the inner world. We become mystical experiences for others to change the outer. So, God bless you, beautiful stars. What a great time to be together. This was a day late, probably $1 short. Whatever. It's the summertime, right? I just explained the summer is like that for me. If you want to donate to Stars of Morning Light, there is a um, PayPal in the about section. Of course, I would appreciate it. Um, and consider being a patron of Stars of Morning Light. Once again, I will be pre-recorded with Lucky Stone 888 Friday night at 8 p.m. here at Stars of Morning Light. We are usually pre-recorded here and live over there at least once a month on his channel. It'll be a great topic, so come on through. Thank you for being kind in the chat. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting those thumbs up. Ah, you beautiful stars. Go play amongst each other, play amongst the stars, which is what we do here. Have fun, enjoy. The highest joy is your birthright. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for coming for Edgar Cayce. Bye, guys.